We're starting, right?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's session hosted by the PMI Germany chapter, local group Darmstadt. My name is Olya Stefanovska, and it's wonderful to see so many familiar and new faces joining us this evening for another inspiring session of learning, exchange, and professional growth. Tonight, we have the pleasure of hosting Markus Kopko, who will share valuable insight on modern project management practices and leadership within PMI, reflecting both his long-standing volunteer experience and his professional expertise. Today's topic, as you know, is AI in action, redefining the future of project and program management. Today's agenda will be basically, we will start at 18 o'clock, 10 minutes for the introduction of this webinar, and from 6 o'clock and 10 minutes till 7 and 20 minutes, Markus will present his topic, and afterwards we will have like a spare time to ask questions, of course, to rate this event by our Mentimeters, and of course, at the end, the PDO claim code and the closure.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I do still see the title slide. I'm not sure if it's only me.
For example, now I'm on the third slide by the suggested conduct guidelines. Does everybody have this problem, or?
We see only, now we see.
Yeah.
Okay, it can be that my internet is maybe slow, I don't know. So this is a good example to mute your microphones, because as always we encourage you to participate actively. Please mute your microphone during the webinar. And in the meantime, you can chat in the chat box, and you can share. We encourage you to share your LinkedIn profile so you can network, of course. And yeah, this session will be recorded. Okay.
Oh, yeah,
so
we have seen. Sorry, we have seen the agenda for a second, but now it's still back to the title slide. I'm not sure what's happening.
Is it for everybody like this?
Yeah. Yes.
You can navigate. You can navigate by yourself. In below left, you can go to the slides wherever this is possible.
Ah. Okay.
But I am navigating.
Yeah. Now we see the Germany chapter at a glance.
Yes, this is where we'll speak about. So before we begin, let me briefly introduce our chapter. The PMI Germany chapter was established in 2020 through the merger of 4 chapters, including the PMI Frankfurt chapter, which was founded in 1988 as the first PMI chapter in Europe. Today, the chapter represents more than 11,000 members with about 4,000 professionals from 43 countries. With over 150 active volunteers, our mission is to empower leaders, enabling learning, foster networking, and create social impact through projects. Here in Darmstadt, our local group is an English-speaking community of volunteers from 6 countries. We welcome over 3,100 participants, offering 2 free online events per month, plus an in-person roundtable. And if you haven't joined our LinkedIn group with nearly 500 members, we'd love to continue the conversation there. And now it's my pleasure to introduce tonight's guest, Markus Kopko. Markus is a seasoned project management professional, PMI volunteer leader, and as a PMI Germany chapter board member, known for his deep involvement in advancing the profession across Germany and beyond. With decades of experience, 20 years, Markus combines practical expertise with a strong commitment to knowledge sharing and community building. He has been instrumental in promoting the PMI's standards, developing leadership initiatives, and mentoring the next generation of project managers. This evening, he'll share perspectives how PMI global strategy translate into local action, what it means to lead through collaboration, and how we as practitioners can contribute to shaping the future of project management. Markus' talk will offer a look beyond the scenes of PMI Germany chapter evolution and his personal insights on leadership, volunteering, and creating professional value through community. So please join me in giving a warm welcome to Markus Kopko.
Thank you. Too much honor. Stop it. Okay, I should start now, right? Okay, sorry.
Yes, sorry, I muted myself.
Perfect. No, okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Thanks for the introduction. I'm just realized that it's not only 20 years plus, it's already 25 years plus. So yeah, my fault. I have to update my bio, therefore. Yeah, I'm not that old than Thomas, but already yeah, kind of a senior age. However, thanks for the introduction. Yeah, good evening, everyone. It's really a pleasure and a privilege to be here, to be honest, with the PMI Germany chapter, and especially thanks for the introduction to the local group Darmstadt. I think it was Maria who reached out months ago. Not sure if she is with us today. So yeah, as Oya already said, my name once again is Markus Kopko, and today I have to share my screen. Sorry. Otherwise you can't see anything. So here we go. Yeah. As Oya already said, today we are talking about AI in action. Yeah, but hopefully this isn't just another talk about what's new. It's already not longer that new, the topic of AI, but this is a session about redefining our very profession, project management and program management. So hopefully we will be moving past simple individual experiments and focusing on what it takes to drive real organizational transformation. And I want to start with two numbers that PMI published in their very last reports. So first, about 37% of project managers already identify as trailblazers. That means more than a third of us in this session or in this room are actively using generative AI in our work, right? So we are experimenting, we are summarizing, we are drafting things. Probably because you have registered for that specific session, I would assume that it's even more than 37%, especially in this group today. But the second number is the one that matters, that really matters. 1%. Only 1% of organizations have achieved true high Gen AI maturity. Yeah. At least according to that reports by PMI. Maybe it's a little bit more meanwhile, because the reports are already a few months released a few months ago. But I'm pretty sure it's not significant more. So about, let's say, 1 to 5% maybe. So only 1 to 5% of organizations have achieved really a higher level of Gen AI maturity. Yeah, think about that. We have massive, enthusiastic, individual adoption and almost zero organizational capability. Yeah. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the great disconnect. And this disconnect creates a massive gap. On one side, we have individual experimentation This is our comfort zone right now. This is using AI for quick wins. Yeah, I'm sure you're doing that already, more or less every day. Summarizing meetings, drafting emails, creating a first draft, WBS maybe, project charter, project schedule, you name it. And on the other side, we have organizational transformation. And this is where AI is embedded in our workflows, where it drives complex risk analysis, where it informs strategic decisions, and where it's governed responsibly. And our goal for today is hopefully close this gap, or at least do the first steps towards closing this gap. So we need to move from the hype about tools like ChatGPT, like Gemini, like Microsoft Copilot, to the enablement of our people, of our workforce. And that requires three things: new competencies, new structures, and a new sense of accountability, I would say. So before we dive in, let's get a snapshot of the room, of the group today, of our session. Please take out your phones, scan the QR code, or in a second I will show you the code you can enter on menti.com, and we will do a quick survey. So here you can see the code. So 252940003 is the code. And once again, here's the QR code. So where is your company? It's about your company or your organization. Where is your company in this AI adoption journey from your perspective? What would you say? Are you an explorer, your organization? So maybe 1 to 50%, let's say, of your teams are already using Gen AI in their day work, in their workflows. Or would you say, are you an adapter or innovator? It's becoming more and more common. So maybe 60 to 50% are using it. Or would you even say your organization counts already to that group of trailblazer organizations where more than 50% are actively integrating AI? So once again, if you missed it, here is the code. And I would ask you to make your choice. And if so, we should see a few results in a second. Oh. Does that work?
You are showing the first slide of your Mentimeters, but we are seeing the fourth, the last one.
You see the fourth?
Yep, and if you skip to the fourth, you will see results.
Okay. Not sure why that happened, because when you joined the Menti, you should see this question: where is your company in AI adoption? Not?
No, we saw the last slide, the last question.
What is your next concrete step is the question we see.
Yeah, that should have come later. Not sure why that happened. Okay. Okay. I think I have figured out the issue. Can you try it once again? Can you see now the first slide?
Can you share one more time the QR code?
Yeah, sure. Here it is.
still the fourth question. What is your next concrete step?
Okay, why is that?
Yes.
Now I have the first question.
Okay. Okay, sorry. Of course, the issue is always in front of the screen, right? Okay, then here we go. We can see a few results. Okay, not big issue at all because we have done already some of the future work. But yeah, okay. Now we can see.
Yes, so now we basically are waiting for you to change the slides. Should we stay on the slides?
Yeah. So now here we go. Now you can see the results, right?
Yeah, on the screen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So about 12 decided for Explorer, 3 for Adapter, and we also got 1 Trailblazer organization. Would be interesting to hear maybe later on in the Q&A session which one this is. But yeah, that perfectly fits to what I described earlier, right? It proves that we are all in the right room. Yeah. Today we are going to build, hopefully, the path from Explorer to Trailblazer, not just for ourselves, but maybe even for your organizations. Okay, perfect. So let's get practical. To move from hype to reality, we need to understand what AI can actually do in a project context. Yeah. And the PMI's guide, practice guide, very new practice guide, maybe you have seen it already, Leading and Managing AI Projects, gives us this excellent framework of the 7 AI patterns. These are the types of tasks AI is good at, like pattern recognition, conversational interaction, or predictive analytics. And we don't have time today to go through all of the 7. These are, by the way, this framework is part of the CPMAI certification. But instead, I want to focus on 2 real-world use cases that combine these patterns, or at least a few of these patterns, to solve complex project management problems. Okay, let's start with something every project manager dreads: risk management, right? So the old way, I'm pretty sure you have experienced that in your projects. We sit in a workshop, we brainstorm, we look at maybe the lessons learned from our last projects, and it's manual, right? It's biased by who is the loudest in the room, and it's terrible inefficient. And the new way is the risk identification agent. This combines predictive analytics with conversational interaction, 2 of the 7 AI patterns. So imagine an AI agent that you connect not just to the internet, but to your internal project data, your past project plans, your risk registers from the last 5 years, your lessons learned database, hopefully you have one, even your meeting transcripts, your Teams conversations, your email chains, everything you can imagine. You feed it. You feed the risk agent, the risk identification agent, that data and your new project charter, and ask what risks I'm missing. And the AI scans all this historical data and your new context, the new project charter. And it doesn't just list risks, it assesses their probable impact based on past projects and even suggests initial mitigation strategies. But, and this is critical, it does not do the job for you, right? So our role as project managers changes. We become the human in the loop. Probably heard that term. We become the human AI orchestrator. So our tasks now are those you can see here on the slide. So first, we validate. Yeah? Is the result from our risk identification agent, is this risk or are the risks real? Or maybe an AI hallucination? Not sure if you heard that term, AI hallucination. It's a common AI issue in at least all AI tools and models that I know so far. It has already become much better than it was, but it is still there. AI tends to hallucinate, to create results that are just not true. Yeah? That's an interesting thing. You can try that on your own. Just ask your AI tool, ChatGPT, for instance, something where you know it doesn't exist or it never happened. And if you ask the AI that question, I almost can guarantee you will get an answer. You will get an answer that sounds really realistic, that sounds plausible, that sounds confident and bold. Yeah? But it's just not true. That's AI hallucination. And this risk of AI hallucination is always there, though we always have to validate the results we get from AI. That's a major task for us now in that era. The second is we contextualize. So the AI may know our past projects based on all the historical data we can feed in. But you know that project, that new project, you know that client, yeah? You know the team dynamics. You know how the stakeholders think about the project. So we have to add the human context the AI lacks, at least for now, and I'm convinced also for some time in the future. Maybe there will be an AI somewhere in the future which even can handle that kind of stuff, but that's not the fact right now. Okay, the third thing is we need to prioritize. Yeah, the AI can suggest priorities, of course, yeah, but we need to make the strategic decision based on our business goals, based on the company's strategy and vision. Yeah? And finally, we orchestrate. We assign the risk, we communicate it, and we lead the human response. So this isn't automation, this is augmentation by AI. Okay. Let's look at a second practical use case. Yeah? Status and or benefit reporting. When you think about program management, it's more about benefit reporting. Doesn't matter if we talk about status or benefit reporting, it's pretty much the same thing. So the problem here is now, or in the past, we have spent hours and hours every week hunting for data for our reports. We pull them from Jira, from timesheets, from financial systems, from SAP, from HR systems, wherever we can get the data we need, and then we manually paste it into a PowerPoint, mostly. And we create 3 different versions of that PowerPoint report. One for the team, one for the steering committee, and one for the CEO. Based on our communication plan we hopefully have created before, and the communication preferences our stakeholders have according to that plan. So maybe we even need more than 3 versions of that report. And that's a bottleneck, right? So the new way looks like AI-enhanced reporting. Let's name it that way. So this uses pattern recognition and goal-driven systems. Yeah? Pattern recognition and goal-driven systems are 2 other AI patterns from that 7 AI patterns framework. So the AI agent connects to all these live data sources I just named: Jira, timesheets, meeting notes, SharePoint, SAP, whatever. And your role is no longer to copy paste into the PowerPoint. Your role is to set the goals, to give the AI the guardrails it needs to create the reports you do expect from it. So you tell the AI, I need a 1-page summary for the CEO focusing on benefit realization and high-level risks, for instance. And another goal could be, I need a detailed 2-page report for the steering committee focusing on budget versus actual and scope changes. You have to define that guardrails, that goals you want to achieve, and the AI does the heavy lifting. So the AI aggregates the same underlying data from all that sources, but crafts different target audience specific reports like you have defined them. And it recognizes patterns like, hey, velocity is down 15% this sprint, and flags them. So again, your role is critical here. Yeah? You must validate the data sources. I always like to say garbage in and garbage out. I'm pretty sure you heard that phrase before. It's more true with AI than ever before, I would say. So you must interpret you must validate the data resources or the data sources, and you must interpret the results. Yeah? The AI gives you the what, and you, as human in the loop, you provide the so what. Okay, so these are not just nice ideas, right? PMI's research on Gen AI adoption is giving us hard facts and hard data. And this is the key insight from that part 1 we are just going through. So trailblazer organizations, that are the ones using already AI for complex tasks like the risk and planning scenarios we just discussed, not just for summaries. Yeah? And those organizations, those trailblazer organizations, are reporting up to 3 times higher productivity. Okay? Let me repeat that. 3x, 3 times higher, not 30%, 3x. That's huge. And this is the strategic impact we are talking about. This is the why. Why do we need to master AI as organizations also? But this 3x productivity leap doesn't come just from buying a tool. Yeah? For just as an example, I have seen organizations that when ChatGPT came out and the topic exploded and everyone was talking about AI, and many thought, oh, we need to jump on the train, otherwise we get left behind. And I have seen organizations who just decided to roll out Microsoft Copilot because they are a Microsoft company, as most companies are. And they decided just to roll out Microsoft Copilot to all of their employees. And that, okay, here you have AI, have fun and become more productive. And of course, it doesn't work that way, right? So you can't just buy a tool and hope for the best. Those 3x productivity leap comes from fundamentally changing how we work and who we are as project and program managers. Okay. And that brings us to part 2, the shift. So for decades, many project managers have been measured by our output, right? Did we deliver this thing on time, on budget, on scope? And AI is going to commoditize output. It will be brilliant, or is already brilliant, at managing tasks, schedules, even deliverables. Our new role, our human role, is to focus entirely on outcome and value delivery. So AI will handle all the analysis, all the routine tasks, all the mundane tasks. And we as humans will handle the strategy, the sense making, and the leadership. We are shifting from being a project manager to becoming really a project lead, or what I like to say right now is to become a human AI orchestrator, workforce orchestrator. And what does this orchestrator need? What do you need in the future? Though the PMI Gen AI journey framework gives us this perfect matrix. It shows that trailblazer status, once again, that is that 3x productivity leap. Trailblazer status doesn't come from just one thing. So on the x-axis, you have preparedness. Okay, this is the what. So this is your technical and methodical basis. Do you understand AI? Do you understand AI concepts? Do you still know your project management processes, your PMBOK guide processes? Well, I know there are no processes in the current PMBOK guide, the 7th edition, but they are reintroduced in the upcoming 8th edition, I think will be released next week while the PMI Summit in Phoenix happens. But that's another story. And are you, and that's a very crucial point, are you data literate as an organization, but also as an individual? Everything relates to that preparedness part. But even that is not enough. On the y-axis, you have initiative. And this is the how. This is the human side. This is your learning culture, your curiosity, your collaboration skills, and your psychological safety. And you can have all the AI tools in the world, and therefore you would have a high preparedness. But if your team is afraid, and your employees are afraid to experiment with those tools, you would have a low initiative and you will fail. Or on the other side, you can have a super curious team, high initiative, but if they don't understand the data or the AI itself, you would have a low preparedness. And again, they will fail. So success lives in that top right quadrant. We need both high preparedness and high initiative. And then we can become that trailblazer organizations. Okay. Need to have water, sorry. So let's break that down. Based on PMI's AI Essentials report and the CPMAI certification or that practice guide I mentioned before, there are 4 key human competencies we all must build, especially we as project managers must build right now. First one is prompt and data literacy. I already mentioned that a few times right now. So this is not just asking ChatGPT or Microsoft Copilot a question. This is the skill of instructing, interrogating, and structuring data for the AI to get a reliable and professional output. Yeah. You may remember last year prompting and prompt engineering was the most discussed topic in the world, I would say, at least in the social media world, and was really a hype, and it was said prompt engineer would be the job of the future. That has changed already a little bit. This year we are talking more about AI agents and multi-agent systems and orchestration and all that kind of stuff. But don't get confused. Prompting and prompt engineering and the skill to really create good structured prompts that deliver reliable and repeatable results is still a very, very important skill to have in that AI era we are living in right now. Okay, second one is governance awareness, right? You don't have to be a lawyer, but you must know the rules. What data is allowed in the AI and to feed into the AI? Yeah? What are the EU AI Act implications? What is your company AI policy? Do you have one? And if you have one, do you know it? Do all your employees know it? All very important things. Yeah? EU AI Act, the EU AI Act, sorry, would be a topic for another session maybe, but trust me, it's really important. Okay, third one is ethical judgment and sense making. This is perhaps the most important one. So the AI will give you an answer, always. I said it before. Yeah? Even if there is no answer, it just creates one. You will always get an answer, but you must provide the judgment. You must be the one to ask, is this answer maybe biased? Yeah? Is this fair? Is this right? That's still a very crucial skill to have. Also in the future we can oversee. And the fourth one is change leadership. Yeah? Finally, you must be able to lead your team through this change, and you must be the one to create the initiative and the psychological safety we just talked about. The future workforce will consist of hybrid teams consisting of humans on one side and AI as a team member, maybe several AI agents as a team member. That is how the future looks like, and we need to adopt our leadership to this new reality. And these are the skills, once again, these are the skills of the human AI orchestrator, in brackets, the future project manager. Okay, so now we go to the second slide of my Menti. Let me have a quick change. So now you should be able to see the slide with this question. Which of your current strengths remain central? Yeah. So that was a lot of theory, I know that, yeah, about our new role. Now I want to make it a little bit personal. So take your time, reflect a little bit, think about your current strengths and the future strengths you might need to develop. So this is the question here. In fact, there are two questions. The first one is, which of your current strengths remain central? Yeah? And the second question will be, in a minute, which new competencies must you urgently develop? So for example, yeah, maybe your current strength is stakeholder communication. And of course, that remains 100% central, right? But maybe you realize your new urgent competency you need to develop is, for example, data literacy. Yeah? So let's first answer the first question. Which of your current strengths remain central? What would you say, please?
I have to jump in because I also scanned the QR code. It's still on the first question. Can you maybe change the slide so we can go further? In the Mentimeter, yeah.
Yeah, okay. To be honest, I'm not sure why. Maybe. Can you see it now?
Still no.
I'm just a second.
It would be really helpful to have the link, yeah, not the QR code, because then you don't have these issues. If you put that in the chat, the link, this would be much better.
Okay, okay. Just a second. Participation link. Where is the chat? So here we go. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm originally I have thought about creating different mentees for each of the questions, and then I have decided to put it all in one. I think that was not the best idea. Okay. However, okay. So now we get the first results. Okay, so current strengths remain central. Listening, of course, I would say active listening at always in project management will still remain central for sure. Team building is also a very interesting topic there because I just mentioned it. Yeah, the future teams will look different than in the past and then nowadays. And I'm pretty sure we have not realized yet how different this new workforce will be in the future and how much we will need to adapt. Okay. Any more? There are already, I can see a lot more already. Okay, here we go. Yeah, communication, of course. Analysis is also a very interesting topic here because I would have assumed that analysis is something that will be mainly be done maybe in the future by AI. Yeah, maybe we can discuss this a little bit more in depth in the Q&A section later on. Okay. Good. This is already great. By the way, Olja, I will send you the results of the surveys and polls afterwards, so we can provide it to the participants also.
Gerne, wir können das austauschen.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So let's have a look at the next question. So hopefully. Which new competencies must you urgently develop? It's about you in personal. What do you think? What are the competencies you need to develop right now? You need to prioritize maybe because there are a lot of things, new things to learn, to be honest. But yeah, it's always good to prioritize this. Okay. Here we go. The first results flow in. Technical understanding. Okay, I would assume there is meant technical understanding about AI, about, let's say, AI. Oh, what's the word in English? Ah, it's gone. We'll be back in a second. This does not really update. Oh, here we go. Proper data input. Yeah, that's a good point. I mentioned that. Data literacy is a very, very major topic also in the CPMAI certification, by the way, because the AI, whatever tool or whatever model you will use, always depends on the data you put in. The AI can only be as good as your data is. AI bots or AI agents, of course, prompt engineering, I said it, still a very crucial skill to develop. We will talk a little bit more about that later on. Ways of working, yeah. The ways of working also do change. The teams will look different and the ways of working will also look different, for sure. Okay, perfect. Good. So, let me just go back to the slides. So that was part 2, and this brings us to part 3. And I promise that's the last part for today. So responsible AI and the path to readiness. It's not enough to be productive with AI. We must be responsible. Not only because of the EU AI Act or other AI regulations out there, but it's just a matter of I would say of our existence. So moving from that 1% maturity to 100% requires moving from simple adoption to true organizational accountability. You remember the 3 things I mentioned before. The third one was accountability, and that is what we're talking about right now. And when we talk about responsible AI, that can feel abstract, right? So the new PMI CPMAI guide, leading and managing AI projects, gives us this fantastic 5-layer model of trustworthy AI. So trustworthy AI is the headline, but let's build that from the ground up. First layer is ethical AI. This is the foundation. This is the why. It's we have to ask ourselves here. So is what we are doing, is this fair with AI? Does it provide social benefit? AI for good? Or does it align with our values from the organizational perspective? Or also from the individual perspective, of course. Second layer is responsible AI. So this is the who. Who is accountable? And it's never the AI. There has to be a human in the loop at some point. And there must always be human oversight and accountability. Third layer is transparency, transparent AI. This is the how. So can we track the data? Do we know the data lineage? Can we explain how the model was trained? All those questions need to be answered. And the fourth layer is governance. So governed AI. These are the rules. This is where compliance lives. This is where the EU AI Act fits. And this is your company's internal data and or AI policy. Governance. And finally, the fifth layer is explainable AI. This is the result. So can the end user understand why the AI gave a specific recommendation, for instance? Or if the AI denies a claim or flags a risk, can we explain it in human terms why that is? So we need to assure though. So you cannot just buy a tool and get this, all that facets of trustworthy AI. Trustworthy AI is not an add-on. It must be designed into our project processes from day one. That would be the ideal picture here. And once again, I know it's not about the CPMAI certification today, but that is exactly what you will learn when you do that certification, or at least when you do the e-learning and read through the practice guide. That is exactly, of course, one of many topics there, but exactly one of the topics you will learn how to implement trustworthy AI from the day one on. Though now I know what many of you may be thinking. Markus, this 5-layer model is great, but my organization is one of that 99 or let's say 95%. So we are more foundational. We are not trailblazers. We are not peak. And of course, you're right. The PMI reports show this clear divide to us. So peak organizations, that 1%, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, have already mastered the 3 key enablers. A culture of learning and experimentation. That's really a thing of mindset, of culture in the company. Is that possible in your organization? Are you allowed to experiment, to fail? That's a culture thing. Then second one, of course, clear governance with AI policies and rules. We discussed that a lot already right now. And third thing is a solid infrastructure with data access and the right tools. There are a lot of organizations who want to adopt AI, who want to utilize AI for their business, for their processes, and to become more effective and to gain probably those 3x productivity leap. But they just don't have the right data at hand. Maybe they have that within their company and within their databases and whatever, but most of the time it's very unstructured and cluttered and not labeled, not cleaned. all those kind of stuff. So that's really a crucial thing. So have the right and good data and enough data. By the way, AI needs huge amounts of data. So you have to assure that. Yeah. But here's my key message for today. You as project managers do not have to wait for your organization to become peak, right? We are, and we always have been as project managers, agents of change. You can start building this from a foundational position. You can be the one to pilot a project, or at least one of your project tasks. You can be the one to ask the first questions about AI governance in your organization, in your PMO, maybe. And you can be the one to demand the training for yourself, for your colleagues, for all of the employees. Yeah? That is also something many still haven't recognized yet. Even though the EU AI Act is already in place and is already valid since, I would think, since August, that more or less any organization or every organization out there has to assure that their employees are trained in some, at least to some degree. Yeah, what is AI, how to use it, and so on. It's a mandatory request from the EU AI Act. For now, in the first iteration, it counts only for organizations who provide AI solutions or provide AI models to others, like OpenAI, like Microsoft, and so on. But from next year on, from next year August, any organization who utilizes AI models in their organization for their processes, so like rolling out Microsoft Copilot to the employees, all those organizations have or are underlying the EU AI Act from next year, August on. And there will be audits, yeah, and there will be really painful, how do you say it? Punishments. Punishment, is that the right word? If you cannot assure that your employees are trained on those kind of stuff. Yeah. Okay. So once again, let's make this actionable. Yeah. As you can see here, this is your readiness canvas. So what can you do now, tomorrow, starting tomorrow? Yeah. I want to divide this into two paths that you must, I would say that you can, but I would say you must walk in parallel. That is one is the individual path. So you can start a safe pilot project tomorrow. Project maybe is maybe the wrong word here, but you can take a use case like the risk identification we talked about earlier, and apply it to one of your projects. Yeah? Use the AI, whatever AI you have at your hand or are allowed to use in your organization, use it to analyze your own lessons learned, for instance. Create a good prompt for risk identification. Make it generic, make it as a template, share it with your colleagues, share it in your organization. And improve it, continuously improve it. Yeah? AI and especially prompting is iteration. Second one, what you can do individually is plan your training. Develop that AI literacy.
Excuse me, I didn't want to interrupt, but I just had a question. After Serge speaking, I was not in the beginning there. So is there any training like this for the topic for the members, or what you are offering, online? Because I know from other companies, for example, who are expert in this AI as well. So they say, for example, AI to procure, I know it. So they offer to extend the knowledge on it for a specific branch? So are you offering something that's for project management or anything which would make value? You know what I mean?
I'm not sure if I really got the question. What was the question exactly? Can you repeat it?
You are mentioning about the training.
Yeah.
Is this training your service, or is it anything which you advise, or is it a specific training?
Okay.
I was not in the beginning there.
Yeah.
That's why I was just wondering.
Okay, now I got it. Yeah, well, there is a lot of opportunities out there to learn about AI. There are a lot of free courses available, even from, for instance, from Google, from OpenAI. I can provide you the links if you are interested in that kind of stuff. Of course, PMI, like I mentioned a few times right now, PMI offers training and certification. And there are other organizations or other providers who provide that kind of trainings, even role-specific AI trainings. So that's already a kind of another problem, that there is so much offerings, so much opportunities, and you have to find out what suits best your individual situation. So if you like, please reach out to me on LinkedIn, and we can.
Thank you very much. I will. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. So to finish with the individual path, a third topic, there are a few more on the slide, but the third topic would be, and that's also crucial from my perspective, join the community, join the information flow. There is so much noise out there, so much information, and I know it can look a little bit demanding to keep up with all those information. So my recommendation here would be, took 2 or maybe 3 sources you can rely on, like the PMI community. There's a huge AI community within PMI already. I do run my own LinkedIn group, for instance. That is also an option. And what I also can recommend is find 2 or 3 really good newsletters about the AI topic, and register to them, though you always get the updated information. That is what I'm doing on a daily basis, and already helped me a lot. Okay, and the second path is the organizational path. Yeah. So like I already said, you can initiate the AI governance talk within your organization if there is no governance, or maybe at least you do not know about it right now. But you can go to your boss, you can go to your PMO director and ask, what is our policy on using Gen AI with client data, for instance? Yeah, very sensible topic. Never ever put client data into a public available AI model, my recommendation. But you can start the conversation. Yeah. And also, once again, on an organizational perspective, communicate the need for training. Yeah, you can use that 3x statistics, by the way. It's not nothing what I have created or what I have researched. It's official PMI research results. You can download that report and took that to your boss and say, okay, if we want to become a trailblazer organization and gain that 3x productivity leap, we need to train our staff. That's mandatory. And you can make your quick wins visible. When you start out with your personal usage of AI, document it. What are the results? When your pilot project saves you 20 hours, for instance, on risk analysis, or the complete risk management process throughout the project, write it down. Compare it to what it has been in the past. If in the most ideal case, there is already data from the past you can compare to, and write it down and share it. Everything would help, I would say. Okay. So final little survey. Just a second. That is the one a few of you at least already answered before, but maybe we can collect a few more results here. So next time I will do this different with the Mentimeter, I can tell you. But we can manage that. Now, just a second. Here we go. This is the one I'm talking about, and there are already a few additional results, so it seems to work. But why? Okay. Good. So what's your next concrete step you want to take? So 7 of you want to try out AI on their next pilot or on their next project or next task. What is great. I will also always tell people when we discuss about things, a lot of people have, I would not say really fear, but there are some hurdles. They are a little bit skeptical about that futuristic AI, technical AI topic, and they do not really want to try it out. And that's a big mistake, yeah, because you cannot really do something wrong. Just get in contact, just try out. And I'm pretty sure, I almost can guarantee you will recognize how that can really be a huge help in your day work. I'm literally use AI tools every single day. I no longer can imagine how to work without those tools because they are really a huge help in a lot of things. Not only, by the way, not only for your professional life, yeah, for your career, you can also utilize that kind of things in your private life. Create, for instance, create sightseeing tours when you are on vacation. I have done that a few times, and it works really great. Okay, most of you want to go for a training. That is really, really a good thing. Like I said, you can reach out directly to me for discuss that further if you like. At least one wants to kick off that governance topic. I like that also a lot because I can tell you with my last employer, I have initiated that governance topic and developed the AI policy for them. And that was really the very first step we have done in that company, and created a great foundation. So that worked also very well. Yeah, and 3 of you want to do as the next concrete step, as the first step, join a community. Perfect. Good. Okay, so I have to close this once again. So I think we already reached the end. Yeah? So I want to leave you with this powerful quote from Kathleen Walsh, which is a leading AI expert and a part of the team behind the PMI CPMAI certification. And she said, it's not about delivering faster projects, it's about embedding AI into how we think and lead. And that is our challenge, but that is also a huge opportunity from my perspective. So don't just manage the change, lead it. That was it from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Markus. Before I begin with the Mentimeter, everybody that has any question now, it's a good time to ask them.
Yeah, I would have one. It's Kunda speaking. Good afternoon. I'm especially interested in an AI tool which helps with the timeline planning. Can you recommend something, Markus?
Can you specify that a little bit more? What exactly do you expect? So, because just I would assume you are not talking about creating a schedule, a structured schedule just from a project charter in terms of having the dates and the tasks, right?
No, let's assume we have identified tasks, activities, and also their duration. Is there anything that can help with sequencing or estimating the durations and also then define a critical path?
Okay, yeah, that's a very interesting question. I would say spontaneously, I would say that is something more or less all of the known tools could help with that. It depends on the prompt, yeah, and how you formulate and how you structure your prompt, and you will get. I would say if the prompt is kind of good, you will get also good results from more or less all of the tools. I'm not aware, to be honest, right now, I'm not aware about a specific AI tool which creates project schedules and let's look them also very nice and like MS Project or something like that, like a Gantt chart. I know there are the common tools like Asana, for instance, and also Jira, and I think I'm not sure if Microsoft already has integrated Microsoft Copilot with the new MS Project. Not sure about that, but I can imagine. Though they have integrated AI assistants, let's say, who can help also with those kind of stuff. But yeah, for now, I would say if you have a good prompt where you specify exactly what you expect as a result, you also can use ChatGPT or Gemini or MS Copilot.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Any more questions?
So I will read you some of the messages in the chat. There is one message from Peter Pedersen. I work in IT and I'm part of a group in my organization that is discussing how we can monitor and help others in the organization with the creation of Power Platform. Items such as flows and apps. We have not quite reached the AI discussion, but that might be wrapped into it at some point. This is what he says, but the question is that maybe I can ask you regarding this comment. How can we discuss this with the firms? For example, there are firms that are quite cautious with integrating AI. They're not so trustworthy of AI, especially when it's given large firms that have a lot of sensitive information.
Yeah, of course.
This is always the question regarding AI.
Yeah, I think companies who are that cautious just need, and in that case, especially the management, just need to learn also about, like I said before, what really is AI, what can AI, what does AI cannot, at least today. That's also very important. And of course, when we are talking about sensible data in some industries, for instance, they have to be cautious in terms of what kind of tools and hosting for those tools and those models do they use, because they need to assure that it is, for instance, in the EU, by the way. Yeah, so that could be a limitation, but even if so, I would say they should not hesitate to start out at least about learning about the topic, because AI will not go away, right? Like the internet in the early 2000s, there were also very much people skeptical, and organizations said, okay, that's just a hype. We do not need a website or whatever. And we all know how that was going. And it's the same with AI. AI will not go away. And I'm really convinced that even the smallest companies will be demanded in some way to handle that, to handle the AI topic, and that is why they all need to learn about. So what I can tell is, if you are in an organization where your management is skeptical about it, or just not sure, do they need to start out right now, or do they need to wait a little bit longer, or whatever the questions are. Once again, reach out to me. I have also can provide presentation speeches, workshops, especially for the management level, where we just explain what it is and what it can and so on. And yeah, let's start a conversation. That is what I can offer.
Good. Thank you so much for answering the question. And there is one more comment by Robert Snyder. I love the cliche executions. Two best friends are simplicity and transparency. Chris McChesney, he thinks. This is a comment before he left because he had work.
Okay.
Yeah. Does anybody else have any other question? They can, if they feel shy, they can also write in the chat. It's not a problem. Okay, so I will ask you kindly, if you haven't done that by now, to answer our Mentimeter. This is quite important for our organization, and to join our next events. Our next event is on the 19th November. This is online. It's from the local group Darmstadt with easy software. I in automation in projects and daily work with Daniel Zach and David Pavlicek. Then we have on the 27th November a roundtable, Carlson in Darmstadt. And on the 3rd of December, we will have Think Before You Build, under topic Think Before You Build, the strategic role of development in project success with Darko Misic, Dubai. Please register on our event so you can participate. And join our mission, of course. This is our lovely local group Darmstadt. Thomas Valenta is here. He's from Germany, but Kreuznach. Florian Andrian from France, Darmstadt. Mohamed Reza, Afghanistan, Darmstadt. Tufik Habli, Lebanon, Beirut. Me, I introduced myself. I originally come from Macedonia, but currently live in Stuttgart. Almira Hasanovic, Montenegro, but she lives in Battleborn. And Maria Robe, she's also come from Macedonia, but she lives in Brussels. As I told you at the beginning of our session, we're the only local group that speaks in English and do our online events in English. So please join us. We always have a room for another volunteer with another teammate. This is the link that you can join us. And of course, this is the PDO code. I would like to thank you for attending this webinar. It was quite a pleasure to host Markus Kopko. This was quite an interesting webinar because it put me, for example, I can tell by myself, to think about how I can be integrated better.
Well, that was already worth it. Oh yeah. Thanks for having me. It was a really fun and a great pleasure. Thank you very much.
You're receiving quite a lot of reactions. And of course, do not forget, all of the participants will receive an email from us, again with the PDU code inside, just so you, perhaps you didn't put it, or etc. And of course, you will get the results from the Mentimeter from today's sessions, and of course the link where the video will and the PDF slides will be uploaded on our Germany webpage.
Very nice.
Thank you very much, Markus, for the effort.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure.
We live from contribution.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Thanks for the organization. Once again, thanks for the invitation. Let's stay in contact. And from my perspective, I just can say have a great evening and talking soon.
Thank you so much. Here is the PDU code. Thomas was faster. Okay. Markus, I can leave your LinkedIn profile on the email, so maybe if somebody has a question to you, he can ask you directly.
Yeah, that
is
would
that
be
okay
great.
with you?
Of course. Please do so.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah. So once again, thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Have a great evening.
Have a great evening. Ciao.